Well, Dame Lillard is very simple. You just signed a 6-year, $250 million contract. Give back $40 million of those dollars so that Carmelo can come join the Portland Trail Blazers. Problem solved. I'll wait on that.
In Portland. Right. LeBron James in LA. They got Anthony Davis. They had Kuzma. They needed to build a roster. They had about 11 roster spots to fill. You ain't there. Right. CP3's in Oklahoma.
Probably because behind closed doors, LeBron would rather have them sign Lala Anthony than Carmelo Anthony.
Had he gone to Miami, he probably would have made sure they took you there. But you're looking at guys.
CP3 can't make sure shit. CP3 can't go to Miami at this point, even if, hypothetically speaking, he were there and tell Pat Riley, let's sign Carmelo Anthony. Pat Riley makes sure that his players have a certain body fat percentage on their team. Like, why do you think they have such a low-level talent, but they win 40 games every year? They get their conditioning level and the coaching level is through the roof. They just can't get any superstars to go there. If they could get superstars to go there, they win 55, 60 games every year in Miami. There's no way in the world CP3 is going to go up to Pat Riley's office and tell him to sign Carmelo Anthony. So Stephen A. Smith once again is trying to gas this dude up.
In the league that are perceived as having the necessary clout to have you on a roster. Does it strike you as a tad bit odd that you're not on a roster considering the amount of friends that you have that would speak up on your behalf?
It strikes me that I'm not on the roster along with, like, due to my talent first, right? Due to my skill, knowing what I can still bring to this game, right? You mean to tell me it's 30 teams in the NBA. I can't make a 15-man roster out of 30 teams in the NBA?
No, brother, you can't. You can't make a 15-man roster. Sorry. You're not one of the top 450 players in the United States or in the world right now when it comes to fitting into a team concept. Now, I do believe that someone's going to throw you a bone before next season, but who knows? They might just say to hell with it.
That's why I start to, like, think about this a lot more. 30 teams, I can't make a 15-man roster.
Nope.
In this NBA.
Well, part of it is the game, but the other part is the politics. In other words,
right.
Yeah, you better than at least 10 to 15. I would argue obviously better than that. But at least the 10th to the 15th man of the roster, definitely you're better than all of those guys. The flips.
Right, but once again, the 10th to the 15th man on the roster, they're not expecting to play. And if they do play, they're coming in mop-up duty. Do you really expect me to believe that Carmelo Anthony wants to get signed to a team to be the 12th man or the 13th man sitting on the end of the bench? Give me a break.
It's because of your resume, because of your pedigree and history. Could he accept a lesser role? To that, Carmelo Anthony says what?
1,000%. And I had to do that. I had to do that in Oklahoma City. That was a whole totally different role. I had to accept a role that I wasn't willing to accept at that point in time. And I wasn't willing to accept that role of coming off the bench in Houston because...
So, Carmelo, you've spent most of this interview laying out how hesitant you've been to accept anything, and yet everybody's supposed to believe that you're so willing to accept everything now. I'm sorry, but no.
Never was relayed to me. It was, you are the piece that we need to get us over the hump.
Brother, let's be for real. After that season in OKC, they basically told you that they were going to call you in the office and they were going to relay certain things to you, what it was going to take to bring you back. And I'm pretty sure that one of the things that they told you, the main thing that they told you was that you were going to come off the bench. You said no because you thought that you were going to go to the Rockets and be a starter. And the Rockets in the preseason let you know that you were going to be a bench player, and things started off rocky there. You were extremely non-proficient, and after 10 games, even though you had that one standout game against the Nets, they said, let's cut him now because the experiment is over. It hasn't been very good. And plus, maybe he can get signed by another team because he just scored 28 against the Nets. That pretty much is the Carmelo Anthony story and how it's probably going to end.
Win a championship. I went in there with that mentality. We need Melo to come here to get us over this. I watched it. I watched the previous year. I saw where I could plug myself in there. And I really believed that we were going to do that. But when I get there, it was something totally different. The dialogue started getting less and less. It was no more conversations. It was just doing. And then I got to react to the things that's being done. Look on the board, your name is not on the board. Damn, why my name not on the
Because you ain't playing, brother. Why my name not on the board? Because you're not playing.
All right, cool. I accept that. Let me move on. All right, you're not gonna start tonight. All right, cool. Hey, you should have told me that. Like,
Bro, they don't gotta tell you shit. They don't have to tell you that you're not starting, that you're not playing.
Let me feel it. I've never done this before. I've never come off the bench before.
You've never been of less value than you are right now. The lower your value, the less regard people have for you. That's why it's incumbent upon us to make sure that self-value is the main value that we have. Because people's evaluations of you are going to change over time. That's just the fact of the matter. When you go from being a child to an adult, people are going to start valuing you for certain things. Now, maybe for your sexual aspect or your intelligence or your energy. As you go from being an adult to an older person, people are going to stop evaluating you based on sexual appeal, and they're going to start evaluating you based on your wisdom or maybe what you have. And then as you become an older person, people are going to start evaluating you based on how you lived the early portion of your life, because there's going to be a reflection there, especially pertaining to how you're living as an old person. They're going to say to themselves, this is an old person. They're living in a nice house. They must have made the right decisions in their youth, so I should respect them. That's just life. People are going to view you differently depending on what you bring to the table. You no longer are a top shelf NBA player. They're not going to worry about informing you of certain things. If you're not going to play, you're just going to sit on the board like all the rest of the scrubs.
I've never done that, except for USA team. But that's something. So you got the 12 best players in the world on one team. You telling me that you want me to come up to like communicate that with me?
And it's clear to say, and just to be clear, you don't believe there is one NBA team, one, that has 15 players on it better than you. I just want to be clear about that.
I'm not saying that it's 15 players better than me. I'm saying out of 30 teams, it's 15-man roster. You mean to tell me I can't make a 15-man roster?
No, what that means is that there are no teams in the NBA that want you. When you start talking about from 10 to 15, those players are there because they better come to work smiling every day. You can't be Jordan Bell on the Golden State Warriors bitching and complaining and throwing tantrums about not playing. You sit your ass on the end of that bench. You stand up when Steph Curry hits a three. You twirl that towel in the air. That's your job. And if we need you in emergencies, you bring your ass in the game. They don't see that personality aspect from you, Melo. So
that's what I'm saying. And I start looking at it in the broader perspective. That's where it don't become about basketball to me. It becomes about politics. And at one point in time, I was saying, I don't want to deal with politics of the game.
You're in the entertainment industry. Politics are going to be a major component of the entertainment industry. It's not just going to be about merit after a while, especially when you don't deserve it. Because if it was really all about merit, you wouldn't even be on TV, because you don't deserve to be on TV. Just you getting this interview with Stephen A. Smith is political, because they know that you're going to garner some ratings.
Been in this game for a long, long time. I've seen this game transcend. I've seen it transform. I've seen it move forward.
I got to get on you about that, though. I don't understand for the life of me how in God's name you can't deal with the politics when, I mean, obviously you got more friends than the three that I'm about to mention. But in LeBron James, you've got the biggest iconic sports figure in the world right now.
I mean, I can't. Listen.
Well, American sports figure in the world, yeah.
I'm just talking about in terms of his approach, his intellect, the conversations y'all have. You got a guy in D. Wade that's an elder.
Intellect. Nike tells him what to do. Nike calls him in the morning and tells him to get up and brush his teeth and take a shit.
Statesman. As far that's how he's viewed.
Right.
And then you got a guy like CP3. He's the president of the Players Association.
Right.
You know, I mean, you.
Yeah, once again, that's how Carmelo got the role on the Rockets in the first place.
Very, very smart and accomplished friends in your inner circle.
Right, and we speak.
Right. So when you talk about politics, you haven't figured out a way to maneuver your way around that?
I talk to those three. We talk a lot about basketball and about situations. I can't rely on LeBron James to, just because you're my brother, like, I got to give you this 15-man spot.
No, I'm not meaning that. I'm talking about the advice.
I get advice all the time. I got to do what's best for me at this point in time. What's going to make me happy, right? Making me happy is going to a place, playing basketball, enjoying it again, accepting a role that I might not normally would have accepted in the past. I don't mind coming off. I've done it. I came off the bench in Houston 10 days. We don't know how that worked. I don't mind coming off the bench. That's not an issue with me.
Why should somebody believe Carmelo Anthony when he says that?
Because I'm speaking my truth, right? And
Sound like some a chick would say, you're speaking your truth. That means that you're not speaking the truth. That's why I make these videos. This is a pro-truth channel. I don't make videos to speak my truth. I make videos to speak the truth. Now, of course, I'm speaking from my perspective. But the truth is objective. It's not subjective. When you say that you're speaking my truth, you're speaking subjectively. So you're couching your opinion under the veneer of quote-unquote truth. That's why Carmelo keeps talking about how he was in his feelings and things of that nature. At the end of the day, your feelings don't matter. It's all about how viable you are, how valuable you are as well to whatever team you hope to get signed to. And I just don't see the value in Melo anymore in the NBA.
I never do this. I never speak out about this. I'm not begging, but I feel like there's too many narratives of...
No, brother, you begging. You're begging. Because you easily could have went on your social media and said the same things. You decided to call ESPN because you thought that you going back and forth with Stephen A. Smith would allow teams to see you under questioning, under interrogation, and maybe prove some type of vibe that you don't believe they think you have.
Carmelo Anthony, but not coming from the horse's mouth. And that's when I start to get, I'm like, yo, like, it's too many people speaking. Like, it's too many people speaking on my name, and I don't like it.
To be honest with you, brother, ain't nobody been talking about you lately. Most of the offseason has been about Kawhi Leonard and LeBron James and Anthony Davis and Paul George, Russell Westbrook, James Harden. Wasn't nobody talking about your ass.
So where would you like to go? It's a lot of teams in the NBA.
I want to play. Look, I see it.
Yeah, at this point, he'll sign with Phoenix.
A lot of teams in the NBA. I'm just saying.
I want to play. At this point in time, I done went to Oklahoma City to try to win the championship. I done went to Houston to try to win the championship. Ultimate goal is to win a championship. That's the only thing left for me to do is win a championship. So, yes, I want to play and I want to go win a championship. But I also want to play, right? I want to get back out there on the court.
Now, brother, didn't he just say that he doesn't believe that there's a team that has 15 guys better than him or 9 guys better than him? But now he's saying he wants to play. So, in other words, he wants to be in that 8-man rotation, preferably at worst the 6-man. He still has the same issue.
The game. I was away from the game for damn near a whole season.
Ain't nobody tell you to do that. You could have went to China.
I got an opportunity to step back. I got an opportunity to grow as a person, as a man. And I deserve another shot. Like, I want another shot.
In the words of Clint Eastwood at the end of Unforgiven, deserve has nothing to do with it.
Stop loving the game until I decide to say this is over and I can pass that on to somebody else.
But a lot of people out there don't want to hear that about Carmelo Anthony. I know you might not want to care about that, but let me explain. They might not care. They might not want to hear that from Carmelo Anthony because they're thinking about a 24-point game scorer, career-wise, or nearly 45% shooting, who's been to the All-Star game 16 times, who's an All-NBA player 6 different times, one of the prolific scorers this game has ever seen, on scoring champion one season as well, where you average more than 28 per game. And they're thinking about all of those individual accolades. You're kind of 3-time Olympic gold medalist, a national champion at Syracuse, destined to go in the Basketball Hall of Fame because of all of those things. But you have never played in an NBA Finals. So a lot of people look at you and say, that should be the absolute priority, not just playing. You should be working diligently to ensure that you're going to end up on a title contender.
Well, he has to get signed to a team before he worries about that. Who the hell will he be to try to dictate that he gets on a title contender? And who would ask a stupid-ass question like that other than you, Stephen A. Smith? And normally you ask pretty good questions, but that's a pretty stupid-ass question.
That's my goal. Like, nobody knows that, but I don't have to speak on that. Like, I know what's going on behind the scenes. My goal is to win a championship. At the end of the day, that's my goal. As long as I'm playing basketball, I want to win a championship. But if I don't have the opportunity to win a championship, I still love this game of basketball enough to just want to play basketball. Have fun, enjoy it, put a smile back on my face, feel good about this game of basketball for once again.
We're going to get back into those feelings in just a minute. This is Stephen A. Smith right here on First Take. Be back with more of Carmelo in a minute. Welcome back to the special edition of First Take. The one and only Carmelo Anthony here with us just a few minutes more. So if we had to crystallize why you felt it was important to sit here this morning, is it fair to say primarily it's about reminding everybody how much you love this game and you ain't able to walk away, you ain't ready to walk away from it yet?
Well, that's more than fair to say. What's really fair to say is that he's desperate, he's lonely, he's hurt, his ego's been bruised, and he's begging.
Totally. I think, but also a part of that is just people hearing from me, because I don't speak. Like, I keep things to myself. I keep things to my inner circle. Because I always feel like I don't have to combat every time somebody says something about me. I've been dealing with it for too long. But it came a point in time now where just enough is enough. It was just too many narratives. I haven't said anything since November, you know.
Bro, people have not really been talking about you since November. I can't remember the last video I did about you. You popped up because people stopped talking about you, not because they were.
Being out there in Houston, even when I left Houston, I didn't say anything. Like, I've never talked bad about nobody.
Yeah, you were saving it for this interview.
Threw anybody under the bus. I always took the ownership.
You just spent this whole interview throwing people under the bus. You threw Daryl Morey under the bus. You threw Billy Donovan under the bus. Right? You claim in OKC that they were not upfront with you about what your role was. You threw LeBron and D Wade under the bus. You claim that they only won because they had better talent than you had. You spent the whole interview throwing people under the bus. Hell, you even threw your damn self under the bus. You threw your damn self under the bus, brother. First, you claim you just wanted to play for a team. Then after that, you said you don't think that there's a team that shouldn't allow you to play. You just want to play. That means you want to be in an 8-man rotation. So you're not really sincere about what you're saying, even about your damn self.
So I say, you know what, look, at the end of the day, this is just not going to work. I got to move on. So I think now is the time for me to, like, really get people to understand, like, I'm human. I got emotions. I deal with things too. I just deal with them differently, and now is the time for me to say something.
If you don't land another NBA job, how are you going to handle that?
Got people out here starving, and you're going to ask a man who's made $250 million in his NBA career how he's going to handle not getting another NBA job. Who gives a shit?
I think I would be, I got to watch what I say on this because I know this is going to be, I think I would be at peace, right? And I say that because right now I'm in limbo, right?
Limbo where? How? How are you in limbo, brother? Are you trying to say that you don't know if teams want you or they don't? Let me help you out of limbo. They don't want your ass.
Pick up every day. I got my same routine, my regimen, go work out, do this A, B, and C. But if I know that this would be it, I would have to be at peace with that. So I can work on that, knowing that I won't be in limbo anymore.
Oh, how about this? Why don't you take yourself out of limbo, humble yourself, which is something that you still refuse to do. Go play in Israel or Greece for a year, or the Spanish League for a year. Show teams in the NBA that you're actually in decent shape, that you're willing to play defense, that you could rebound and pass, which is something that you have not shown really for the last 10 years or so. And then maybe you'll get a call back.
Move on to do other things that needs, that needs focus on. Right now, I can't do those things because I don't know what team I'm going to be on. I don't know what situation I'm going to be on. So it's hard for me to focus on anything else other than staying locked in, going to the gym, training, keeping my body right, keeping my mind right.
What is the legacy if your career is over? And I hope it's not, because I don't think it should be. Mm-hmm. But if your career is over, what is the legacy of Carmelo Anthony
a lesser version of Alex English, a lesser version of George Gervin, a lesser version of Bernard King, a player who at certain points in his career was a dynamic offensive threat, especially in the half court, playing that 1990s, 2000 style of basketball, the hero ball style that, of course, was taken to a higher level, a non-pareil level by the great Michael Jordan, and who other players after him tried to mimic to nowhere near the level of proficiency or splendor. He's a player who was of that ilk, Carmelo Anthony was. But he was just someone who was in the NBA at the wrong time. Had Carmelo been drafted 10 years, 15 years earlier, we might think of him differently. Who knows? But he'll go down as one of the better players to have never won a championship. If we were to make a list of the top players to have never won a championship, he'd definitely be in the top 15 to 20.
Of Carmelo Anthony.
I think when we talk about legacy, right, it's something that, you know, people leaves behind when they dead and gone, right? For me, my legacy will always continue, right? Because I'm giving back what I've learned, not what I've earned, right? To me, that's legacy. Giving back to what I've learned, not what I've earned. My legacy will always
And explain
continue.
that. Giving back what you've learned. Explain
Giving back what I've learned.
Because you're very philanthropic.
Right,
You're
so,
very charitable,
you know,
with your time, your money, and
my
the whole
time, my money, my community,
Baltimore, Puerto Rico,
New York, Puerto Rico, all over the world, South Africa. Like, that's what I mean about giving back what I've learned, but also allowing other fellow athletes to come into my circle. Meaning, Donovan Mitchell wanted to get some, you know, some tidbits. Kuzma wanted to come and get some tidbits. A lot of the young players and older players are coming to me behind closed doors saying, "No, I want to work out with you." Like, that's my legacy at the end of the day.
So that's your legacy, that you're an unpaid coach. I got you.
Let me transition to general basketball right now. How are you feeling about the state of the game in terms of this view?
David Stern ran the NBA with an iron fist for about 20 plus seasons. How many seasons it was. He started in 84. He ended in 2012. So what's that, about 27, 28 seasons? He's the one who ran the NBA for a long period of time. He brought in the paradigm of promoting individual superstars because he knew that that was a niche that was missing in the sports world. With football, it was about pushing team. With baseball, it was about pushing the family, the national pastime aspect. With basketball, it was going to be, look at me, look at Magic, look at Larry, look at Kareem, look at Dr. J, look at Isaiah Thomas, look at Jordan, look at Karl Malone, look at Charles Barkley, John Stockton, etc. So on and so forth. Later on, Gary Payton, Sean Kemp. The list goes on and on. So David Stern was the one who ran the league up until about 2012. These guys today are feeling themselves because Adam, ballet dancer, Adam Tutu wearing silver, allows the NBA players to walk all over him.
Basketball standpoint. Now you put NBA superstars with better business savviness. Like, we have a business savvy that guys before didn't have.
As usual, more disrespect from this generation of NBA players for what the players did before them. They're not making 9 figures because of what the NBA players before them did. It's because they have more business savvy. I have news for you, sir. The reason why you're able to go into a collective bargaining agreement and be able to hold out for a long period of time is because of what Dr. J and Magic Johnson and Larry Bird and Isaiah Thomas and Michael Jordan did, opening up the corporate world to see that they should invest in NBA players. Oh wow, Michael Jordan can sell sneakers. Oh wow, Dr. J could sell Coca-Cola or whatever it was that he was involved in. That's why. Now you have other revenue streams because of what those guys did. It's not that you're more fiscally knowledgeable. It's that you have more options because of the paradigms that they created for you. So show some respect.
Now we understand the nuances of what it means to be powerful, what it means to be impactful as a...
No, you know what it means to be a corporate shill. The corporations that pimp you out give you permission to be woke because they know wokeness is not a threat to the powers that be at all. The super liberal woke bullshit is not a threat to anybody other than to those in the so-called black community, where now we espouse ideologies that weaken us as opposed to strengthen us. And these guys think that holding up one black fist in the air and wearing a beret and trying to harken back to 50 years ago, like that stuff is going to be impactful, or promoting the black matriarchy is going to be impactful on us in some way, and it's not. The so-called black man is going to have to stand up and lead the so-called black community. So what they do is they take a lot of these athletes, the corporations do, and they tell him, yeah, go out there and quote unquote speak your mind. As long as what you're speaking is super liberal, we'll be right behind you.
As a superstar.
Who's been the greatest influence in that in you guys' mind, number one? And number two, how did y'all get to a point that other players from previous generations wasn't able to get to?
It's obvious that Stephen A. Smith wants him to say LeBron James.
You think assistant that?
I think we had to just realize the power that we had. And we never, as an athlete, as a basketball, we never knew what power we had as a basketball player.
Bullshit. You're not qualified to tell players from previous generations what power they thought they had. You have players like Bill Russell and Oscar Robertson who are willing to not play in all-star games in order to get deals done. You have players like Oscar Robertson who was willing to lose his career in order to initiate the free agency process in the NBA. So it's not about not knowing what power they had. It was about willing to sacrifice so that they can gain greater power incrementally.
It's always, you come in, you do this, you make this money, you shut up and shoot, you shut up and go. Now, you can't say that to us no more.
Bill Russell, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, they never just shut up and dribbled. So this notion that black athletes in the 60s and 70s, they couldn't say anything, that's hogwash.
Everybody has businesses, everybody knows the business of the game of basketball, and they're trying to grow the game of basketball as well.
I think it's appropriate because I want to pull up a quote transitioning to your buddy LeBron James.
That's how you know he wanted Carmelo Anthony to say LeBron James when he asked him who has been the biggest influence on this change, quote unquote change. He wanted him to say LeBron James so that he could use it as a way to change over the topic to David Griffin.
Still consider, I think he will return and remind everybody he's the greatest in the world this season. There's a quote from David Griffin, the new general manager for the New Orleans Pelicans, former general manager for the Cleveland Cavaliers, won a helped them get a championship in 2016. This is what he said to...
David Griffin must have had a couple of drinks in his system when he made these comments. He must have been feeling really good about himself when he sat down for this interview because he spoke some truths that he wasn't supposed to speak.
What's illustrated about LeBron? He said many things, and he'll be on the jump later on today with Rachel Nichols. But this is part of what he said. There wasn't a lot else for him after winning the championship, of course. I don't think he's the same animal anymore about winning. LeBron is getting all the credit and none of the blame. And that's not fun for people. LeBron's response, because you know him well, you see it, all right, enough's enough. The throne has been played with too much, and I ain't for horseplay. Ether coming soon. Coming soon.
Yeah, come on, Steve. You know that's ether. Knock it off.
Straight fire. Your response. Tell us what we should expect.
If only LeBron was as good in the finals as he is on Facebook and Instagram and Snapchat and all that other shit.
We just said, or so.
I'm not big on people speaking on personal situations after the fact.
You ain't big on winning either. I mean, does it really matter what you big on?
If you had an issue with me or what I was doing at that point in time, you should have came to me. I was around you every single day. We spoke, we talked. Have enough guts to come talk directly to me. And I know what, I don't know what LeBron is feeling or what he's saying or what he want to say or what he's going to say. I just know me from being in a situation like that. If you're around me every single day, don't be afraid to talk to me. You come to me when you want something done.
So what exactly would you have liked David Griffin to do, Carmelo Anthony? You want him to call LeBron up to the office and say, you're creating a toxic atmosphere, a toxic environment. What we're trying to do here is not organic, it's not fun for me. And what would LeBron have said in response to that? Or what would you have liked LeBron to say in response to that, other than quit? There are certain things that should not be said. This notion that, oh, you should just say whatever it is that needs to be said to everybody. No, that's not always the case. You do have to be honest to the best of your ability. But there are certain things that don't need to be said because sometimes you just have to be a soldier. Now, the problem that David Griffin had is that he's not a regular person. He's not a part of the public. He is within the NBA entertainment sphere. And it's almost like the Hollywood sphere. there are certain things that producers might think about Denzel Washington or Russell Crowe or Al Pacino or whoever, but they can't say that publicly because it might hurt their chances of securing those stars for another film. David Griffin is part of the show, so he can't say certain things like that.
To me, and put this whole organization on my back to win a championship, and I come and I deliver that. What else you want me to do? I don't know the ins and outs.
But you do know him well enough because you're one of his boys.
Yeah,
you know him well enough.
He want to win.
And you saw that quote that was just put up there.
He want to win. He want to win, and he's going to do anything he can to win.
So according to you, Carmelo Anthony, LeBron James wants to win, and he's going to do whatever he can to win, and he's made very little effort to bring you onto his squad. So what does that tell you about how he views your ability to help him win?
That's what I know about him.
Would you like to play with him?
1,000%. We talked about that since we was 18, 19 years old.
Yeah, y'all talked about that since y'all was 18, 19 years old. Now y'all both 34, and LeBron James is trying to win a championship. He has clout on the team. We know that he deals directly with Rob Pelinka, but you're sitting up in the studio with Stephen A. Smith. Ain't that a bitch?
Have your representatives reached out to the Los Angeles Lakers?
We reached out to a lot of people.
Mm-hmm. Have the Lakers been one of them?
The Lakers has been one of them.
Have the Clippers been one of them?
Clippers has been one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Look, they've reached out to everybody. They've reached out to the Orlando Magic. Orlando still hasn't called Melo back.
We reaching out, we talking, it's dialogue with certain teams. I don't want to.
Yeah, there's a lot of dialogue. As in ring, hello, this is the Phoenix Suns general manager. Who is this? Oh, this is Carmelo Anthony's agent. Click. Hello.
To specifics, but there's conversations. But I think for me now, it was just a matter of me letting everybody know where I'm at, right? Physically, mentally, emotionally. Like, this is where I'm at. I want to play basketball. I still love the game of basketball.
That's why you have the YMCA, brother. It's over for you in the NBA. Please just stop.
Play this game for a farewell tour. I'm ready to get.
This ain't even an interview. This is a damn interrogation. I mean, shit. When the interview started, Carmelo had a bald head
On the team.
And what will we see? Allow me to fantasize. What would we see real quick? Because we only got about a minute left. If you were on the Lakers, if you were on the Clippers, if you were with Dame on Portland, I don't know if you'd go there, but if you were on the basketball teams, one of these championship contenders, what would we see from Carmelo Anthony?
Leadership. In the locker room, on the court, on the bench, places that I've never had issues with before. Right. This is what I bring to a team. On top of me being confident enough in my game to still be able to deliver something on the court.
15 a game? Capable of that?
I did that. I was doing that last year in 10 games. I was doing that at OKC. Right?
Stephen A. Smith once again enabling Carmelo Anthony 15 a game. That's not what they're going to need from Carmelo. What they're going to need from Carmelo, especially any team that brings him on, will be defense, hustle, rebounding, try to block a shot or two, make good decisions, catch and shoot threes. All things that he does not do well.
Scoring that's what I do. Like I will always be able to do that, right?
Yes, from a mid-2000s perspective, yes, you can score, and not even anywhere near as well as you did back then.
Now it's about me maturing and almost accepting what's going to be the new norm. They might not need for me to score 15, 16 points.
They might not need you at all.
Appreciate you, bro.
Thank you.
All the best to you. I got a lot to say about this in hour number 2, of course. Max Kellerman, without question, will have a lot to say about it.
To hell with Max Kellerman. Anyway, that's basically it on that. A lot of you brothers asked me to cover this Carmelo Anthony interview, or interrogation as I call it. There it is. Once again, brothers, it's very important that we know when it's over. It stops us from playing ourselves. To me, as I watched this interview, all I saw was a man who was playing himself. He lied multiple times. Sometimes willfully, sometimes not willfully. And I think it's because he seems to still think that he has a chance to come back into the league, and I just don't see it.